What's up guys, it's Collision back with another video today. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Not super production related or DAW related. Today I wanted to talk about studio monitors. It's one of the most important parts of being a music producer or audio engineering or even a mastering engineer. Chances are you probably own a pair of studio monitors and or are looking to buy maybe a new pair of studio monitors. Maybe they're your first pair, maybe they're your 50th pair, who knows. But if you're anything like me, I'm a little bit of a geek with these things. So I just wanted to kind of make a quick video today going over a couple really popular models, or well, one really popular model and then one really underdog model. The Kali Audio IN8 second wave, fantastic monitor. And we're also going to be comparing those monitors against what you see behind me, which are the ZenPro modified Yamaha HS8s, also a fantastic monitor. And this is something I've been really curious about, so I finally decided to pull the trigger and make it happen and make this comparison. I don't see a lot going around about either one of these monitors. I see more about the Kalis than I do about the ZenPro modified HS8s. I'm just going to call them the ZenPro HS8s because they are essentially a completely different monitor than the Yamaha HS8 body that they inhabit. So anyways, I'm going to switch to a clip here and we're going to start talking about it. Cool? See you there. Cool, so we have both monitors right here. We have the ZenPro HS8s and the Kali Audio IN8 second wave or second version. Now I'm going to talk about these Kalis really quick. So this is a three-way monitor and this guy right here is a two-way monitor. So those are going to be some of the biggest differences technically speaking between these two. The HS8 here is rear ported, these guys are front ported. Usually kind of prefer front ported. Supposedly it reduces kind of bass chafing or whatever. Personally, I've never really heard that so much myself with either of these monitors. I've heard it on some lesser expensive monitors that maybe don't have quite the same build quality as either of these two. So take that for what it's worth. Connectivity is very similar. The Kali Audio does have RCA. It does have the dip switches. They did a great job. Kali Audio did a fantastic job designing these monitors, and they do sound dashingly good, if I do say so myself. They are very quiet. They fixed the issue that the first iteration of these monitors had, and now they're actually quieter than these monitors, which these monitors are pretty freaking quiet, but these guys are even quieter. That's pretty cool. They really listen to the feedback about the monitor. The Kali IN8 here is a lot more flexible than the ZenPro HS8 in that it is a three-way system, so you get a wider sweet spot. You do get a little bit of that. Now I will say this, the claim saying that going from a two-way to a three-way is going to be a mind-blowing monitoring experience, it's just simply not the case. It's a subtle difference. There is a little bit more breathing room in terms of how you move your head and when you're going around working on your gear or on your desk or console, wherever you're at, with the IN8s or any three-way monitor. But again, it's subtle. You're not really missing anything from a two-way design. So if you're looking to upgrade from a two-way speaker to a three-way speaker, it's probably not worth it in this case. Moving on to how they sound, right? Obviously these are really flexible monitors. I tried them both calibrated and uncalibrated, both of these monitors actually, in the same configurations that I possibly could, and I calibrated them all, and this was basically what I came to find out. The Kali, you can have them upright and obviously you can also have them horizontally because they are concentric point of sound source monitor, three-way monitor that way, and being concentric, they can be sat sideways or horizontally on a stand or a monitor bridge like this, and that's really well and good, and they sounded fine. But I did notice that when I went to go calibrate my room and I was doing all my measurements, there's some oddities going on in the low range, and I didn't really care for that too much myself. And those oddities went away within the calibration when I stood the monitor upright vertically like it is now, but these guys were switched in the positioning. They sounded way better than they were on their side. So Do note that while these guys can go on their side, these guys absolutely can't. These guys sound a little, I guess, mushy when they're on their side. I don't know, that's just me. Once I got them standing upright and I recalibrated again, that mushiness cleared up significantly and they sound a lot more clear. That being said, the sound of this monitor, it's very consistent. It's kind of on the warmer side. It's very nice and balanced, but they're kind of quiet. They're not as loud as maybe some of the other monitors on the market. They're certainly not as loud as the ZenPro HS8s. Now, I can't really compare with factory HS8s because it's been years since I've had a pair. So back to the Calis here, they're warm sounding. They have a little bit more of a, they're quieter, but they also have this musical quality to it, and it's really enjoyable. They're a great listening monitor. That being said, they don't have a ton of clarity. They don't have the low-end extension that these HS8 ZenPros have. That kind of got me thinking, which I was kind of surprised because I was hoping that it'd be on par or better. Unfortunately, that wasn't my findings. Still a great monitor, but a completely different flavor. They have more of a squared off low end, and it kind of leaves you wanting a little more, especially if you come from something that has the low end extension and it's smooth and it's very balanced and transparent. You miss that when you're hoping that maybe the next monitor will have that. It's there and it's good enough for monitoring and referencing, generally speaking, but if you want more detail, if you want more extension both in the low end and in the top end, these probably won't be the choice for you. So going on to the HS8s here, the ZenPro HS8s to be in fact, they sound like a completely different monitor from their factory counterparts. Look exactly the same except for a sticker of the ZenPro logo on the back. They sound completely different. Yamaha did a really good job designing these speakers. They very much limited the capability of the speaker, and it's a dang shame. That being said, ZenPro has this magnificent modification that they go through, replace, op amps with row-bound op amps. They, disable the limiter, stuff like that. There's some other little nooks and crannies that they tweak around with. Nonetheless, they do these modifications to these monitors and they sound absolutely amazing. One thing that can be said about both of these monitors is they definitely do pack a punch above their price range. They both sound like they should cost thousands of dollars a piece rather than $850 for a pair of Kali IN8s, and I think these HS8s are a little bit more. I think they're around like 900 or something like that. Both are really great companies and great people and very, very good customer service. So if you have any questions, highly recommend. 10 out of 10 for both companies. Going more into the details of the HS8 ZenPros here, again, they sound like a completely different monitor, so don't let the looks fool you. They have that low end extension. It's smooth, it's silky, it's balanced, and it's just there. Something that most monitors within the $1,000 price range just don't typically give you, up until you start maybe doing something like the Kali, which it kind of starts, but it kind of chokes it off. On the HS8s here, it's not choked off. So you have that huge benefit to you. I don't need a sub with these guys. With the Kalis here, I feel like I'd maybe need a sub to get that low end extension because you can't really hear it on the IN8s, but you can get more of a feeling because it's so low on the ZenPro modified Yamahas. Again, that's not something you'd get out of these monitors if you were to buy factory HS8s. It's not happening. In fact, the low end of the factory HS8s sound very similar to the IN8s. The IN8s a little less choked off than the factory HS8s, but that's what I can kind of say on terms of low end there. The top end though is another really magical point. These ZenPros are more detailed. They have a more detailed mid-range. You have a little bit more punch, so you can hear compression a little bit better when you're dialing in your compressors, making your moves on EQs. Both of them do well with EQ. You can hear all the adjustments that you're making, even when it comes to compression. But I find that the Yamahas just replicate that in a space better, and that's just my personal opinion on that. Again, the Yamaha is rear ported, so you can't have them too close to a wall. It might give you some issues there. That's where the Kali is going to win hands down there. Now the ZenPro HS8s, they do have a really good stereo space, and arguably I think it's just as good, if not better, than the IN8s. Surprisingly, because being a three-way monitor, you would expect the IN8 to maybe beat a two-way system such as these HS8s here, but I didn't find that to be the case personally. I found that the Yamahas here were more detailed and more spacious. You could hear everything going on in a mix, for better or for worse. You could hear all the detail. These guys just made it sound good. No matter what I played through them, everything just sounded great on them. And that's fantastic for a general all-around sense of a monitor. You know, good for casual listening, good for even studio listening or audiophile level listening. But I'm not hearing separation between sources or tracks. I'm not hearing the detail, especially in the mid-range and top end. I'm not hearing the low end. On the HS8 ZenPros, I'm hearing all that, and that's really important to me on a production and engineering level. When I'm working on my music or a client's music, it really helps me out there. That's basically all I got for you guys today on these two monitors. They're both fantastic. Again, I'll put links in the description below. Check them out. Feel free to email either one of these guys if you have questions. I highly recommend trying, if you can, both out. If you're in the market for hunting for monitors or whatever, or just want something new, these are some of the best options on the market today, at least within the you know, say $800 to $1,000 price range. They're unbeatable for that. They're just two different flavors, kind of warm and inviting, less warm inviting, but more analytical, and there's a lot of separation here. For the price, I don't understand how much better you can potentially get. I know that there's some Genelecs that are the ones, everybody knows about those. There's some great offerings from Atom and stuff like that, but I have no experiences with those. Outside of listening to both the Genelecs and the Atoms in a demo room, which isn't always the best place to listen to monitors, but guess better than nothing. But I found that the Yamaha's still won for me. The ZenPro HS8s are my pick. If you have any questions on either one of these monitors, I'm happy to help answer any curiosities. This is just my opinion. If you have a different one, that's fine. You know, everybody has their own preferences, especially when it comes to how they listen to music. So that's gonna be all for me today, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.